Connections with Spirit, live from the Your Partnership studio with Emma and Mags.
You need to keep talking that.
I know. So, psychic surgery, what is it all about? We're going to find out from Pete Efford today. He's very kindly agreed to come on the show and give us a little chat on it. What I know about psychic surgery is that you use a surgeon from Spirit who works through you. You don't actually cut open the body or you know, there is no scalpels or anything. It's all done energetically. The people I've heard had it done swear by it. I don't know many, I have to say, because I don't know many really honest to God good psychic surgeons. So I'm really excited to be talking to Pete today.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, so Emma's just going to call him now, and we're going to have him on the show, ask any questions that you want to ask us. Please do. I'm on Facebook streaming live, so please do pop on our Facebook page. Margaret West, I'm not on the Connection with Spirit one. Right, hold on. Hello, Pete, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, finally. We've had so many technical problems this morning. I'm so glad we've got hold of you.
Good morning to you, Margaret.
Good morning, Pete. Thank you for agreeing to come in on our show to speak about psychic surgery. We
my pleasure.
We have questions for you from our listeners, and I'm sure Emma will have a million and one questions.
Good.
So,
by the way, I think it was Stephen Layton you saw at the Arthur Findlay College.
Oh, yeah.
He's not very good with names.
No, and I couldn't remember. It was so long ago, but he was absolutely amazing.
Yes. I watched him heal a lady's eyes there on one of the open days.
Oh, I tell you what, he got me through the trance week, because I couldn't have done it without him.
Yes.
But the one thing he does tell you, after you've had it done, he says you will feel like you've been run over by a steam train. And I did the next day. And he came over to me in the restaurant and said, "You all right?" I said, "No, I don't know I've been hit by your steam train." But it was fabulous. So Pete, do you want to explain to our listeners exactly what psychic surgery is?
Yes, there's two different aspects to healing, really. There's psychic surgery and there's also spiritual healing. And there is a distinction between the two. With psychic surgery, you get more physical ailments and things, and it's more akin to actual physical surgery, whereas spiritual healing is more energy-based. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they work slightly different ways. I'm now in a position where I have my original doctor, a guy called Dr. Manners, that started working with me in 2017. And he was a British medical doctor, an osteopath, and a scientist. And he invented one of the world's first machines that uses ultrasonics to heal the body. And he was getting people out of wheelchairs, curing cancer. He got knighted by the Queen for his work, and he's an amazing man.
Wow.
And then last May, I had an absolutely bizarre series of coincidences with Harry Edwards. Have you heard of Harry Edwards?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
An absolutely phenomenal healer, and arguably one of the best healers since Jesus.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's no idle boast.
No.
And he, I've not actually heard of him when I started getting messages through different people coming to me, and a bizarre set of circumstances. I've just written a book called The Book of Proof, which will be out in a couple of weeks.
Oh, right. Well, is that out on Amazon? Where can people buy that book?
Yeah, that'll be on Amazon in a couple of weeks' time.
We're certainly buying that one.
It covers everything. So it's kind of semi-autobiographical, but goes into specific subjects as well. Because I started life as a deep trance medium. My grandparents were deep trance mediums.
Okay.
And then I got involved in the public performance side and working at the spiritualist churches. And that had always been my passion. And I was away on a retreat teaching mediumship with a colleague called Nuala. She said to me, "You know, you've got someone following you around." And I said, "Yes, I do, but I don't know who it is." And she said, "I do. It's this guy called Dr. Manners." I said, "What what does he want? He wants to use your trance energy to heal people. And I was me healing. Is his sat nav broke? I don't do these. And she said, well, you know, if you're racked in pain, do you want your pain gone, or do you want a message from Auntie Doris? And I thought, well, that's a very good argument.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
she said, give it a go. So I did, and everybody seemed to get fixed. And when I came back from the retreat, I was asking my spirit guides, if this is real, what am I supposed to do with this? And the next day, a lady phoned me in Cheltenham and said, can you come and do your Reiki 2 on Friday for free? You'll be doing me a favour, because I've got an odd number of students, and it's really hard to teach when you've got to work in pairs. So I went and did it, and at the end of the session, she said, right, now you've got to go and do 15 hours practice to get your certificate. I thought, okay, that's the answer to my first question, go and do some practice. So I did, and I threw myself out on Facebook, and went and did 9 body spirit fairs, and really tested it. And everybody got fixed from high blood pressure, alopecia, arthritis in the spine, you name it. Everybody got fixed, and I thought, okay, well, something's going on here. And then same question to my spirit guides, what am I supposed to do now? You know, I've got bills to pay, I've got a job, I haven't got a clinic, I haven't got any patients, what am I supposed to do? And a lovely lady came into my premises where I was doing IT and making websites and things, and she just came in and asked for me by name, and I went in to meet her in the boardroom. And she said, what is it you do here? Do you do websites? And I said, yeah. Thinking this is a bit strange. You don't wander into a business not knowing what they do. And we got chatting, and she ran a meditation and yoga retreat by the lakes in Woodchester. And so I opened up and told her about my spiritual stuff and this new healing thing. And she said, oh, that's why I'm here. I said, what do you mean? She said, I don't want a website. She said, I was just told by Spirit to come in here and ask for Peter.
Oh my
goodness. I didn't know why. She said, but now I do. She said, come and start your healing practice at my retreat free of charge. I'll bring you lots of patients.
Oh my goodness.
And she really did and got me started.
Spirit had a plan.
It has got on from there. And then last May, I had 5 friends of mine who were mediums who all phoned me up and said, I've been told by Spirit I've got to do a reading for you. And I said, really? What's going on? And they all said, you must hurry up and finish your book because your life's about to take off and go crazy and you're going to be travelling a lot. I thought, okay. And then 2 of them said, oh, and Harry Edwards is coming to work with you. And I was, Harry who? And I took it with a pinch of salt, to be honest, because, you know, he was such a phenomenal healer. And then I got a by chance meeting a few weeks later with a gentleman who was Dr. Manner's protege and his right-hand man. So I went round to his house because I wanted to know what the man was like in real life, and turned out he had the power of telekinesis and could move objects with his mind.
Oh my goodness.
And they went out for dinner with him one night, and he excitedly announced a breakthrough in his research, and all the knives and forks on the table all suddenly bent in half in front of their eyes. So they were wowed.
Wow.
So we chatted away, and this guy, Robert, who's a man in his 80s now, suddenly went off into trance. And I was a little bit like, what's going on? And when he came back, he said, I've got a gentleman here for you with a message. He said, do you know who it is? I said, no. And he said, it's Harry Edwards. I said, really? He said, yes, and he's got a message for you. You must believe he's coming to work with you. So I was a little bit, wow, that's 3 times then. And then a few weeks after that, my friend who's president of the local church here in Coventry, Pip, she said, oh, could you pop in and sort the internet out? It's not working properly, it's not talking to the computer. So I went in and I tiptoed next door to catch the tail end of the visiting medium. And she came straight to me next and said, I've got your grandmother here. And she named her. And then said, generations of spiritual development are coming together through you right now, and it's very exciting. Your life's about to go crazy. So I went up to thank her at the end and suddenly found myself blurting out this Harry Edwards stuff. And I couldn't stop it. I was trying to put my hand over my mouth. Honestly. I said, I'm ever so sorry. I don't know why I've just blurted all that out. And she said, I do. She said, Harry Edwards appeared in my car on the way here today. She said, and I had no idea why. She said, now I do. It's for you. It's an affirmation. I thought, wow, this is really getting quite a loud message coming my way. And then a few weeks after that, I had a phone call from a lady wanting distance healing in the Surrey area. And I started chatting with her about, what do you want to get him fixed, blah, blah, blah. And I suddenly found myself saying, why do I have to say Harry Edwards to you? And there was a bit of a pause, and she said, you're not going to believe this. She said, I was at the Harry Edwards Sanctuary this morning, and I've just been made a trustee there. So I thought, oh my God, this is getting crazy. So anyway, we chatted a bit, and I told her what had happened, and she invited me to come and visit the sanctuary. So when I got there, I had a healing with a couple of their resident healers. And at the end of it, they were freaked out, and I said, well, what's the problem? And they said, your hands are absolutely identical to Harry's hands.
Oh, wow.
And I said, how do you know? They said, there's a cast of them in the chapel. And they took me through to the chapel, and they are exactly the same size and shape.
Oh my.
And I took a photograph of it, which I put on my website, which you can see on there if anyone's interested.
What's your website, Pete?
It's called spirituallytalking.co.uk.
Okay.
And it really kind of freaked me out a little bit. So I thought, wow, you can't get much of a stronger message than this, can you?
No, definitely not.
So anyway, the lady I was speaking to, Kim Pilkington, a lovely, lovely spiritual soul who works at the London College of Psychic Research. And she does workshops in angels, and she's a good medium in her own right. She said to me, why don't you come along and do a deep trance experiment and see if you can transfigure into Harry so my face would change. Mm-hmm. I should probably explain first. When I do deep trance mediumship, I go into a trance state in a darkened room with just a red light shining on my face. And then ectoplasm forms over my face as a mist. Wow. And all my facial features will disappear.
Whereabouts do you do these demonstrations?
Well, I'm only doing it at the Harry Edwards Sanctuary at the moment.
Okay, is that?
And we're just getting.
Can people go there to see, or are you?
Soon, we will be going open to the public soon.
Oh, you're going to have to message us and let us know, because we're definitely going to be there.
We're coming.
Yeah, no problem. You'll be very much invited, ladies.
Oh, lovely. A couple of questions for you about psychic surgery from our listeners.
Yes, please do.
Can it cure people?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. How long does it take a session? Oh, sorry, did you hear that? Oh,
no, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I lost you then. How long does it take a session?
Sometimes it's instantaneous, depending what the ailment is, really. And sometimes it might take 2 or 3 sessions. The longest one I've ever done, I had a guy in Gloucester who'd got osteoporosis due to a tumour on his pituitary gland. And his back had broken in 5 places, and 2 of the joints had crumbled away, leaving him with the top half of his back kind of overhanging the bottom half. Oh. You could put your thumb in the hole. And that took a few months before we could get him pain-free and walking again. And his latest DEXA scans with the NHS, they said the first one must be wrong. You haven't got osteoporosis and you haven't got back fractures.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
So what happens, like, for someone that's never heard of psychic surgery and they wouldn't know what to expect, how would you describe that to someone? So if they was to come to you, what would happen, would they? Because people are thinking, because we have a lot of listeners that are either just interested in the spiritual way or interested in all the different subjects that we talk about. So like they're probably thinking in their head that you're going to use scalpels and it's going to be like a surgery at a hospital. So how would you explain that to them?
Yeah, no, it's not like that at all. It's a hands-on process for me. I do distance healing as well.
Yeah.
And I did my own kind of quantum physics experiment in distance healing, prove it worked. But for the hands-on approach that I do for most people, they turn up and I put my hands on their shoulders like Reiki and tune into their energy.
Yeah.
And then my team, my doctors, Dr. Manners and Harry Edwards come in and they guide me to where I'm going on the body. And then there's an energy transfer. I go into kind of deep trance and I can feel the energy. People report feeling things moving inside them. They report feeling hands on their body. They report seeing colours, those kind of things. But it's a very gentle process. There's no, actual cuts. There's no blood or anything like that.
Yeah. Because sometimes people can be a little bit wary of thinking, oh, I don't like operations, so I don't want to have that done. But it just helps to clarify for them.
Some of them are quite visual. I had a lady with Bell's palsy with one side of her face all dropped. And straightened her face up for her, so it was a very instantaneous response. I had a lady with a thing called drop head syndrome, which is where the neck's at 90 degrees to the body, so they're looking at the feet, and they're trying to look out the top of their eyes. Mm-hmm. That took about an hour to get her neck straightened up again. Some things like stomach issues, like diverticulitis, things like that, they'll feel they'll feel things moving in their stomach.
What if someone was to come to you and they don't know what's wrong with them, like they've been to the doctors, the doctors say they can't find anything, would you be able to, would you diagnose, or would you just do your psychic surgery and then see how they are afterwards?
A bit of it. I've done a lot of diagnosis over the years. It depends. I've had some really strange ones. I had one lad came in and he'd been a professional sportsman, and I put my hands on his shoulders and I got nothing. I wasn't drawn to any area on his body, and he was suffering with chronic fatigue. And I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? So I'm talking to Dr. Manners at that time and said, what's happening? He said, ask him who got trampled on his way to the top. I thought, well, this is a bit strange, so I asked, and he said, oh yes, I know what that is. And he went on to explain, when he'd been a professional sportsman, his coach had said to him, you've got to choose between your sporting career and your girlfriend, because you haven't got time for both. And he finished with his girlfriend, who took it very badly, and she went home and took an overdose.
Oh.
And he'd finally reached this stage in his career where he could take his foot off the gas and become a coach himself. And he was actually punishing himself psychologically and manifesting his own illness. In his head, he decided that if he suffered too, he wanted to kind of balance the pain he'd caused another human. So he was a lovely, lovely guy. And he felt by punishing himself, that kind of made it equal.
Yeah.
And he subliminally created this fatigue problem. The NHS couldn't find anything wrong with him. So I had to explain to him about our soul paths and how we choose to experience things before we come here, and how it actually helped her on her way with the journey she'd chosen to learn from. And once you kind of understood that, all the fatigue disappeared.
Yeah.
You can bring it on yourself. The mind's a very powerful tool, isn't it?
It certainly is. I went on a Dr. Joe Dispenza course a couple of weeks ago in Switzerland, which is very much about the power of the mind, and the power of the mind to heal yourself. Very, very interesting stuff, how you activate the pineal gland through meditation, and you can absolutely transform your life, not just heal yourself, but anything you want.
And the doctors are advocating meditation now, because I go to a pain clinic, because actually I've got a very bad back, I need to come and see you. But no, they said to me at the pain clinic, do you do meditation? Well, I teach meditation, so I do it all the time. But she said, yeah, but do you do it? And come to think of it, I teach it a lot, But do I actually sit there for myself? No, I don't.
Yes, guilty as charged.
Yeah, I wasn't quite
It's just what they say, heal thyself, isn't it?
Exactly. Just one thing, Pete, before we have to go, and I've got so much to ask you, but we haven't got the time. But anyway, if someone came to you with cancer, is that something that you could help with?
Yes, I'm working with a lady with cancer at the moment. It's an interesting one. I have shrunk tumours. The guy with the bad back, I've shrunk the tumour on his pituitary gland by 20% so far. So yes, I can. It is tough. It's not an instant flick your fingers fix.
Yeah.
It does take work, working at it, and I think people have to look at changing their lifestyle as well and what's caused the cancer. And certainly there's a lot of things out there now. Apricot kernels seem to be one of the big solutions. I've got a friend who was got prostate cancer, and his PSA score should have been 5 or 6 for his age, and his was 27. And the doctors wanted to operate the next day, and he said, no, leave it to me. And he took apricot kernels and he took some mushroom tinctures, and within 3 weeks his PSA score was 3.5.
Wow.
And apricots have been proven, I think the chemical in apricot kernels is B17, and that's been proven and allegedly hushed up by some of the pharmaceutical industry. There's a village, I think it's in Ecuador, South America somewhere, that the whole place lives off apricots. They grow apricots, they live off apricots, and no one there's ever got cancer.
Wow.
But people, when they move away, get cancer, and people, when they move there, become cancer-free. So they wanted to do a scientific study into it to find out why. And it's not the flesh of the apricot, it's actually the kernels. And people take those as a definite aid in reducing and curing cancer.
Wow.
So there's quite a lot of things out there on the market. I've read another thing about infestations of parasites in the body being a cause of cancer. And there's quite a few videos on social media and things you can watch on that. People are taking ivermectin and things to get rid of parasites, have found themselves curing their cancer. There's some interesting stuff that needs more research.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we've come to the end, Pete. I've still got about a million questions here for you.
I think we need to go and have a cup of tea with him.
Yeah, we want you as our best friend.
We want to know you and your friends.
Yeah, well, you'd be very welcome. And I will definitely send you an invite to the Harry Efford Centre.
Oh,
Thank
perfect.
And when I go into trance and do that, my face changes into him so people can see him or their relatives. And then he'll call people up, point to people and say, right, lady with a bad hip, come over here, and put my hands on it and heal it and things.
Oh, hopefully he'll point to me and go, the lady with the bad back, come here.
Or the lady with the big mouth.
Oh, excuse me. How rude. Anyway, Pete, thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll put you on our website. So what was the name of your book?
The book's called The Book of Proof.
Book of Proof.
Yeah, I'm an engineer, you see, at heart, and my life's been about demanding proof of things. I don't just take things at surface value.
Well, I think that's a good thing. I'm a bit like that. I have to research.
Like proofs in the pudding as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
what you experience and cross-examine it as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Pete, for coming on our show and spending your time with us. We hope you have a beautiful weekend.
Thank you very much.
We will be in contact with you again.
Lovely. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Pete.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
How bizarre was that?
That was so strange.
Pete, if you're still listening, I've got to say, as we were saying goodbye to you, the whole of our studio lights went off, and there was just a red beam in the room.
Yeah, all the lights went off, but all of the computers and everything was still on. So it wasn't a power cut, literally just the lights.
That was amazing.
I kind of looked at Margaret and thought, oh no, don't tell me we've had a power cut.
That was amazing. That was your little goodbye cue, I think.
And it was a little sign for us to say, yes, we are definitely going to be in touch again.
Oh, absolutely are. He's going to be my new bestie.
I'm coming along as well.
Of course. Where I go,
Connections
you
with
go.
Spirit, live from the Your Partnership studio with Emma and Mags.
How funny that he was talking about Harry Edwards, because I went to Harry Edwards Sanctuary, must be about 10 years ago now.
Where is it?
Oh, I don't know, don't ask me.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to Google it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went there and it was actually a day trip that I'd gone on to.
Oh, okay.
With a group of people. And it was really interesting, and there's a massive, massive portrait of Harry Edwards I think it's in like the hall area where they do the healing, and we got to have, I think it was about 10-15 minutes of healing ourselves, and there was 3 of them around me, and that was the first time I'd ever experienced any healing, and I was thinking, okay then, but when I looked at the picture of Harry Edwards, it moved. It was like it was a 3D picture, and I was just sitting there looking at this picture thinking, is that me? Am I imagining that?
Spirit is
so amazing.
Amazing. I always say Spirit have a plan. They definitely had a plan for Pete, didn't they?
Yeah.
All those little synchronicity bits.
And the fact that you blurt things out as well, and then you think, why am I saying that? Why? There's a reason behind it.
Yeah, there's always a reason behind it, absolutely.